Hey there, House here. So last week was not my best week. I went 7-6, bringing my overall record to 74, 61, and 1, and my win percentage stays at 54%. So let's get rolling into week 10, shall we? First up, on Thursday Night Football, we had the Panthers versus the Falcons. I know that game is going on currently. I took to social media to pick my winner because I knew this video wasn't going to be out in time. I'm picking the Falcons. When these two teams met 2 weeks ago, the Panthers should have beat them. It took a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the end of the game for the extra point that caused the Panthers to not win, go into overtime, and then miss a 31-yard field goal for the Falcons to win. I think this one's going to go a little bit more in their favor, but it's still going to be a tight contest. Next up, in Germany, we have the Bucks versus Seahawks on Sunday morning. In this one, I like the Seahawks here. I think it's me finally coming around to the fact that Geno Smith has played well, and they have a pretty good offense with their star players, DK Metcalf, and Kenneth Walker III has come on strong since the injury to Rashad Penny. I like Seattle. Next up, Bears versus the Lions. So in the last couple of weeks, has been a little bit of a script change with the Bears offense performing quite well. Their defense is still suspect, but they're not going to have any issue against this Lions team. Picking the Bears. Dolphins versus the Browns. I like the Dolphins here. The Browns have a really good run-first offense, but the Dolphins are a bit too high-powered for them right now. Titans versus Broncos. The Titans nearly pulled off the upset last week against the Chiefs without Tannehill. They'll have to check his progress to practicing this week to see if he'll be able to return against this Broncos team. I just don't think, even after coming off the bye, the Broncos can match up at all against the Titans right now. All right, next up we have the Bills versus the Vikings. The Vikings are, like I said in my previous video, they're I believe they're 7-1 or 7-2, and a lot of their contests are one-score games. They're going to have a difficult challenge against this Bills team, who might not be firing on all cylinders as they normally are with the elbow injury to Josh Allen, but assuming that he practices throughout the week and he doesn't have any kind of real limitations, their offense is going to roll right through. All right, Giants versus the Texans. The Texans' offense is mainly run through Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back. He's popped up on the injury list with a chest/shoulder injury, so we'll have to monitor that to see if he's going to be able to go for this game. Even if he is able to go, I don't think they have enough on offense to overcome this Giants team and what they can bring to the offensive side of the ball. Chiefs versus the Jaguars. This one really shouldn't be much of a contest. I like the Chiefs here. They're going to put up a little bit better performance this week than they did last week against the Titans, but they're still going to beat the Jags pretty handily. Steelers versus Saints. Kind of went back and forth on this one. Wasn't quite sure which team to actually trust and go with. And then I saw a stat saying that Najee Harris, the running back for the Steelers, has not had a rush attempt over 20 yards this season. And he hasn't had very many running lanes this entire season. And as soon as they moved to the rookie quarterback Pickett, those lanes got even tighter. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Steelers team, and I like the Saints in this one. Raiders versus the Colts. Colts got some good news. Jonathan Taylor is back practicing, and he is going to go against a really porous Raiders defense, which is just what he needed to try to get his season back on track. Picking the Colts here. Rams versus the Cardinals. These two teams met, I believe, back in week 3. That saw the Rams victorious. This one's going to be one to kind of watch out for. Matthew Stafford is dealing with a concussion. He hasn't practiced yet. Kyler Murray is dealing with a hamstring injury. So if neither of those guys can go, it's going to be John Wolford for the Rams against Colt McCoy for the Cardinals. Whether it's McCoy or Murray, I'm leaning the Cardinals this way. If it does go backup against backup, at least McCoy's got a lot more experience. I'm going Cardinals. Packers versus the Cowboys. So unlike last week when I could not pick against the Packers because they were going against the Lions, but I knew they were going to lose. They lost. This week, I have no problem going against them here. I'm picking the Cowboys. The only chance that they have is in a Mike McCarthy reunion game where he starts to call plays for the Cowboys like he used to for the Packers and just make their offense look like trash. But that won't happen. Picking the boys. Next will be the 49ers versus the Chargers. This should be a pretty entertaining game. The 49ers are expecting Deebo Samuel to come back. It's going to be a brother versus brother matchup with Joey Bosa from the Chargers versus Nick Bosa from the Niners. So that'll be a fun, intriguing thing to watch throughout the game to see who's performing better. The Chargers are still going to be without Mike Williams and probably Keenan Allen, so I'm leaning more of the 49ers side. And last up, Monday Night Football, we have the Eagles versus the Commanders. The Eagles are 8-0. They have a pretty good offense. They struggled last week against a not-so-great Texans team, and then looking at their schedule, they're 8-0 against some pretty suspect teams. So the record's a bit more inflated than it should be based on just the teams that they played. They don't have a tough test here, so they're going to go 9-0 pretty easy. Well, there you have it. Those are my picks. Thank you for tuning into the House Report. If there were some selections that I made that you disagree with, please leave your own picks in the comment section. And lastly, for all my betting friends out there, remember, you win some, and you'll lose some, but the house always wins.